Welcome to Revenge Story Times. In a 40-year marriage, you never imagined that the woman you trust to stand by your side through everything could one day deeply disappoint you. Neither did I. Josie and I had spent decades together, raising our children and supporting each other through good times and bad. I thought our bond was unbreakable. At least, that's what I believed until that morning. What I saw when I unexpectedly came home didn't just shatter my marriage. It destroyed my faith in my family. The real betrayal wasn't just that Josie cheated on me with a younger man. What truly broke me was how my family responded when they found out. Instead of offering me the support I desperately needed, they stood by Josie. It felt like the life I had spent 40 years building was nothing more than a lie. So, what was I supposed to do? Stay silent and endure the humiliation, or walk away from everything and take control of my life? This is where my story begins. Before I dive into it, if you want to avoid your life being turned upside down like mine, subscribe to my channel. Every day, we share real lessons from real stories, just like this one. Don't forget to share your thoughts about the shocking truths I've experienced in the comments, and show your support by liking this video. Now that you've subscribed, let's get into my story. All my life, I trusted Josie. Together, we faced every challenge life threw at us. But that morning, when I came home earlier than expected and caught her with a younger man, my world collapsed. Words spilled out of my mouth uncontrollably. Have you lost your mind, Josie? Kissing someone whose mouth I wouldn't even dare imagine where it's been. Or do I already know? The shock on Josie's face quickly gave way to indifference, and that hurt even more. "This is Luke," she said, as if that explained everything. That's when I noticed the younger man standing there, extending his hand toward me. Despite the rage boiling inside me, I kept my composure, but his arrogance was unbearable. "If you ever come to my house again, I'll destroy you. I have a gun," I said firmly. The smirk on Luke's face disappeared instantly. A heavy silence filled the room before he left, leaving destruction in his wake. As Josie followed me into another room, she had the audacity to ask, "Was that really necessary?" Her words made it seem as though I was the one in the wrong. At that moment, everything became clear. For years, I had sensed Josie pulling away, but I couldn't figure out why. Now, the truth was painfully obvious. "How long has this been going on?" I demanded. I asked Josie, "How long has this been going on?" She replied nonchalantly, "He comes by while you're out golfing. We meet our needs, and he leaves. It doesn't even affect you." Her words hit me like a cold wave, replacing my rage with emptiness. "Are you saying this casually, or do you actually think this is normal?" I asked. "Ray, it's what's best for us," she said with ease. "You can continue with your golf, and I take care of my needs. We're all happy." Her thoughtlessness shattered me. The life I believed in for 40 years was nothing but an illusion, but I had no idea how much worse things would get. The next day, July 4th, our family gathered as we always did for a barbecue. While preparing, I noticed Josie acting relaxed, as if nothing had happened. Watching her, I tried to suppress my anger. For a moment, I even considered forgiveness, thinking about all the years we had spent together. By the end of the day, everything changed completely. In the late afternoon, as we all sat around the table, my daughter Christine looked at me and said, "Dad, we need to talk about Mom." I turned to Josie, whose calm expression revealed nothing, but inside, I felt something breaking. "What do you mean?" I asked. "Mom has her needs," Christine said, as if it was perfectly normal. "And what needs are these?" I asked angrily. "Dad," she continued, "you need to support Mom. Her happiness is important. And honestly, you need to accept this." That was when I realized it wasn't just Josie who had turned her back on me. My entire family had. Even my son Leo chimed in. "Dad, this is important for Mom. You need to understand." The disappointment and loneliness I felt were overwhelming. I had done everything for this family, met every need, and sacrificed so much for years. Yet, they not only accepted Josie's betrayal, they supported it. So you're all okay with this? Is that it? I asked, my voice cold and hollow. Silence. Christine lowered her head. Leo avoided my gaze. Josie, as unapologetic as ever, said, Ray, it's just a matter of needs. It doesn't shake the foundation of our marriage. I still love you, but this is part of my life. That was the moment I knew it was over. The MY family's lack of support and Josie's indifference were too much to bear. Looking at all of them one last time, I said, Fine, if you all think this is so normal, then you can continue living this life with Josie. But without me, that night as I lay in bed, I made my decision. This marriage, this family, it was over for me. Josie's disregard and my children's betrayal were the final straw. But I wouldn't let them see me break. They would think I had accepted it quietly, but in reality, I was reclaiming control of my life. The next morning, I went about my day as usual, played golf, chatted with friends. I knew Josie had invited her young man over, but I didn't care anymore. I wouldn't disrupt her perfect arrangement. Instead, I would carve out my own path silently. Thanksgiving came, and Josie decided Luke should be part of the family. She invited him to dinner at my house, to my table, with my children present. Watching Luke chat with my family as if everything was normal was the final straw. During dinner, I knew what I had to do. Quietly, I went to my room and began organizing my things. I wouldn't interfere with Josie or my family's happy life, but I wouldn't let them forget me either. On July 4th, while the family celebrated, I left behind a letter and walked away. In the letter, I explained everything. How Josie had cheated on me, how my family had sided with her, and why I had chosen to leave. I also took full control of our finances. I left them enough to live comfortably, but I took everything I needed to rebuild my own life. And here was the biggest surprise. I wasn't leaving alone. I don't know how Josie and my children felt when they read my letter, but I do know one thing. At that moment, I gained the greatest freedom of my life. After years of putting my own needs aside, I finally stepped into a life where I would live solely for myself. Thank you for listening until the end. See you in the next episode of Revenge Story Times. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Goodbye.